Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 7 of the LCR World Rallycross Championship. We're back, we're here in Holles for the 7th round of the championship. 3 weeks to go of this series, and yeah, hopefully today we can try to further extend our margin over Bram in the title. 9-point gap between us at the moment, and this track is probably my strongest on the calendar in terms of raw pace. But unfortunately for this one, we start right on the inside here for what would be our fastest qualifying time. It actually mucked up my other run and unfortunately jumped the start. It was actually, I'm pretty certain, the quickest qualifying time of the evening if you minus the 20-second penalty, which was sort of reassuring. But yeah, this would be my fastest run, including pens there. And it's going to be lights out and away we go there, responding fairly poorly actually to the lights as we head down towards turn 1 there. Bram just on the outside that we try to get up the inside of him, just get stuck together as we head through turn 1 there. So if Bram does come back out in the race lead here, we need to try and get past him as quickly as possible here, because he just doesn't quite have the pace to match Mel and I here tonight as we head down through the hairpin here on lap 1. You can see all over the back of him still at the moment here. And yeah, like I said, this track, it's obviously the one that way back when I actually qualified for the Dirt Esports World Championships around this circuit. So, you know, I've got a bit of affinity for this place, know my way around it a bit better than most of the circuits here. You can see all over the back still of Bram at the end of lap 1. We're going to have to try and do the opposite of him at the moment. He opts not to hit the Joker there, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to dive in, try and get a nice tidy run through there, get the front end rotated on the exit there, just actually dig the wall. Luckily it doesn't cost me any time this time around there. And yeah, now we need to try and close back up that gap to Bram, obviously, before he takes his Joker as well and try to re-inherit the lead of this race here. I think we should be, it's looking very, very close at the moment. The game only reckons you lose about a second through the delta. Bram decides to throw some bollards at me. If there's ever been a steward's inquiry, that would have to be it there. But out of the final corner of lap 2, despite taking the Joker there, a 38.8. So we were definitely showing some good pace at the moment. Bram's going to dive it in for his Joker now, so it's the moment of truth. Are we going to be able to get the undercut on him? And yes, we have. Straight up into the lead, get a really, really good run actually through that section there as well. And now we're up into the lead of the race, so we just need to try and keep it nice and tidy over these last couple of laps here. We've got a 7/10 margin over him as well. So yeah, I reckon the Joker lap costs you closer to 2 seconds than only the 1 that the game does think there. But Connor as well in this race, I think he'd be struggling a little bit more at the rear of the field here. So as we head now onto the final lap of 37.2, we should be trying to get 36s out of the car if possible there. Almost roll it as we head through turn 1 there. But we do get a good run over the jump in towards the second half of the lap here. Ride the curbs as best as possible once again here. It's such a fun World Rallycross circuit at the end of the day. It's definitely my favourite track on the calendar, as well as probably my best as well at the end of the day. But yeah, down in towards the final couple of corners though, it is going to be the stage victory there. Really, really happy with that run. Unfortunately, we lost a couple of seconds at the start, but out of the final corner, it's going to be a 36.9 final lap as well there. And like I said, we really should be trying to get a couple of 36s on the board there. But yeah, 2:34.1 wasn't the quickest time of the day, but on the other hand, would once again be good enough to get us through into the grand finals there. Joe, unfortunately, once again not making it this week out, so the gap to him is very much coming down in P2. And Mel now as well has mathematically guaranteed himself as the champion as well here today. But yeah, we're ready though for the finals there. Unfortunately, yeah, it would be Bram and Mel alongside us, so we need to try and outfinish Bram once again in this race, but only time will tell. 6 laps around the Holles circuit, and honestly, this was probably the one track on the calendar that I felt I probably had a good shot of race victory, despite, you know, the little bit of a lack of pace on the Peugeot. You know, it can hang with the Ford and the Audi, obviously, but Mel is just rapid around every track on the game. He puts a lot of practice into this as well, which obviously we just don't have the time or the energy to do so either there. But yeah, Bram, myself, and Mel making up the finals then. A fairly consistent 3 into the grand finals here, and hopefully we can just have a nice clean race ahead of us here as we get ready for the start. Now, I noticed I was starting in the middle for the finals, so I've got a plan ahead of me here. What I'm going to try and do is down in towards someone. Bram's on the inside. I know he's going to go full send. I'm going to try and brake early and get underneath him and get into the Joker lap on lap 1 then. Hopefully try and stick with him. Hopefully he's going to be ahead of Mel and they can just bunch each other up, and then when they take their Jokers, I can try to make the difference as well. So that's my plan of action, ready for this final race of the day. Hopefully it can work out for us, but we will have to wait and see. On the grid then, the lights are going to be coming on around about now, and it is going to be the lights on, ready for the green, up in second gear there, and it is going to be a very long hold, but lights out, and away we go. They're responding quite well actually to the lights. Like I said, trying to brake early down in towards someone there. Bram though, actually we just made contact with him, we send him round, we get span around ourselves. Bram there taking a bit of a wider line than I wanted there, and that's going to cost all three of us there, but for Bram it's actually worked out alright. He made contact with Mel, we both got spun around in that situation there, and yeah, like I said, I thought Bram would go a bit quicker through turn 2 there. We tried to get to the outside of him, but it didn't quite work out as well as we would have liked there, and that's really put us on the back foot in this racer. It's cost both Mel and myself a lot of time there, and Bram, the lucky guy, is now up into the lead of the race there. None of us have taken the Joker at the moment. We're probably going to try and just take it as soon as possible in this race there, but yeah, that was really not the start that we needed to this race. We're going to dive it into the Joker, try not to go into the back of Mel, obviously, because in the perfect world, Mel will win this race anyway for ourselves. Just try and take a few points out of Bram where possible there. But coming back out now of the Joker, you can see Mel already taking a good 6/10 out of Bram. He definitely still probably had the least pace out of the three of us here, but we're now 4 seconds back, so we need to try and hunt down this gap as best as possible here. Already the gap coming down just a little bit sector by sector at the moment here, and yeah, hopefully we can try and stay out for as long as possible now and hope that these guys do the same, so we can continue trying to close down this gap as best as possible. There are 39.4 as well on the end of that lap. Mel is going to dive in for his Joker as well now, so he's going to stay out ahead of us at the moment. And actually, so is Bram there, so we're not going to have gained the margin that we wanted. They both tried to cover me off at the moment there, and yeah, that's really not quite worked out in the way we would have wanted here in this race. The gap's still now back down to about 2.5 seconds at the moment. We had a bit of damage on the car as well. We were struggling a bit with the pace as we head now down in towards the halfway stage of the race, and yeah, at this point we really needed Mel to come through and try to take home the race victory here, or we were going to lose out a lot of points to Bram. A 37-1 though, the pace was still okay, and at the moment they're struggling just a bit though as we head through the first couple of corners here. Quick but careful at the moment, but it really just wasn't working out well for us. The gap to Mel, he was closing down that margin to Bram, but we were really starting to stagnate this margin at the moment as we head on to lap 4 here, just trying to close up as best as possible. Yeah, unfortunately, I'd made the mistake. I'd really accidentally helped out Bram in this race there, and I do honestly believe if our strat had worked out, if we had been able to get underneath him, we definitely would win a shot of this race victory there. It's out of the final couple of corners there. The gap's still coming down to the pair of them at the moment. We've taken a good 4/10 out of Mel on that lap alone there, but at the moment it's looking like it might just be too little too late. We need Bram to make a mistake here as we head on to the final couple of laps, as we're just trying to keep it clean, trying to keep it consistent, riding the curbs as best as possible here as we head now on towards the final lap. The gap now back down to under 2 seconds, so we had taken a good second out of him over these last couple of laps there, but it might just be too little too late at the moment. Still trying to ride the curbs, still going all out committed as we go all over the bollards through the final corner of lap 5 here. But one to go in this race. We've taken another good few tenths out of the pair of them here. Is Mel quite going to be close enough to go for anything there? We're all riding the curbs, all getting a bit loose at the moment now. We get all kinds of loose over the jump there, just costing ourselves a little bit of time. The gap now down to just 1.3 seconds between all three of us here. Game's getting a little bit confused as to where we are. Thought we were in the lead for a second there, but unfortunately, as we head down in towards the final couple of corners, it's not quite going to be enough here. We're going to have to go full commitment through in towards the final couple of corners there. Get all kinds of loose, dink the wall. That's going to be a big penalty, and if I'm not mistaken as well, a puncture there as we go for pirouettes down through the final corner there. And yeah, unfortunately a 10-second penalty in the end. So after all of that, Bram comes through for the race victory there. He now moves back up into P3 in the title by a single second there. And yeah, not quite the way we wanted that race to go. And just like hell, we had the pace, but not quite the luck of the draw at the end of the day there. But yeah, quite a crazy race in the end. Thank you all so much for watching this video as well. If you're new around here, do get yourself subscribed for more LCR World Rallycross action. We will be back next time out when we head to the penultimate round of the series at Lohiak. A very close battle between myself and Bram at the moment, and if Joe continues not to be able to race we might be able to close up the gap to him as well there. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Do get yourself subscribed if you're new around here as well. And hopefully, I will see you guys back here next time where we head to France. Lohiak, penultimate round of the championship, a 1-point margin between myself and Bram. Let's do this thing.